Well, hello beautiful people, my name is Bridget and welcome back to my channel. So, today's video is going to be about my least favorite shades in eyeshadow palettes. I don't know what I'm titling this video, it's probably something really dramatic, but today we're just talking about palettes that I like. I like these palettes, obviously I've kept them through my declutters and stuff. However, there's at least one shade in here that is just not it. So today I'm going to talk about those shades I don't like in these palettes, and without any further ado, let's get into the video. Alright guys, before we get started, these are my personal opinions. I still enjoy these palettes like I said, but, you know, something could have been switched out, or the quality isn't my favorite, or whatever. Also, I will not be including the Bloodlust palette because I'm kind of tired of talking about it. I did 3 videos on it, and my least favorite shade in that palette is Vile Serpent. All the rest are fine. No complaints about the rest of the thing. I did a shade by shade review of it, but the Vile Serpent shade, garbage. So, that's my thoughts on that one. But let's do the Jeffree Star ones now. Orion made the cutest little clunk right there. Come here, baby. He says, hello, everyone. Isn't he just the cutest babe? Look, we have matching nose rings now. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Okay, so Jeffree Star palettes first. Let's talk about one of my favorite Jeffree Star palettes, the Blue Blood palette. I love this palette, but there's 2 shades in this palette that I do not enjoy, but I'll tell you which one is worse. So, looking at this palette, the color scheme in here is stunning. It is absolutely beautiful. I love there's a mix of neutrals in here with the blues and this ranch. It's not ranch. Controversy of the ranch. This one's Cullinan is the most beautiful highlight. It's great for the inner corner of your eye and is also great for your face highlight. It is freaking beautiful. But there are 2 shades in here and they happen to be right beside each other. Are terrible. It's Blue Monday and Flourishing. Blue Monday is the worst of the 2. Flourishing is patchy and hard to blend out. Blue Monday is purple. It looks more blue on camera, but when you swatch this and you blend it on the eye, it's purple. It's called Blue Monday, but it's purple, and when you blend on the eyes, it's totally a purple color. So, not a fan of this one. It's also really patchy. It's shades like that, and then the other ones in like Blood Sugar that are purple, that are just like not good, and that's probably why he didn't include really deep shades in the Bloodlust palette, but then why make a deep purple packaging for a palette that's not deep purple. You could have made a lavender packaging, probably would have fit the color scheme of that palette more. But overall, I love the Blue Blood palette so much. It's one of my favorites, but I do not mess with these 2 shades at all. But it's right beside this Ice Tray shade that is just a beautiful shimmer. Like, we're not talking about shades we like in this video, but oh my god, I love that shade so much. But these 2 shades, patchy, not good. This one doesn't even come off as a blue, and it literally is called Blue Monday. So, great palette, terrible 2 shades. So this was the first thing that came to mind when I thought of palettes that I love that have a really bad shade in there. I can smell this thing just from holding it. It's a Gingerbread Spice palette by Too Faced. This was limited edition. There's an extra spicy version which doesn't have the bad shade. So if you guys saw my review, it got a rave review. It's one of the best Too Faced palettes other than Chocolate Gold that I've ever tried. But there's one shade in here that's absolute garbage. I told you I've considered poking it out with a toothpick and letting it shatter and never seeing it again. It is the shade Frostbite Me, and I love a white shimmer. But this is such a, it's this shade, it's hard to show on camera. It's a gritty formula, like it feels wrong. I don't know if we can tell how chunky that is on my finger. Sorry, I just slammed the palette next to the microphone, but it's just gritty, and then when you can feel the texture on it when you're rubbing it in. It's not really smooth. It looks beautiful, but I don't want to work with such a gritty formula. It will not pick up on a brush at all. Even with a finger, you're gonna get fallout on your eyes and stuff, and it's very glittery, but I don't know, it's just so chunky, gritty, chunky, gunky, cannot pick up with a brush whatsoever, and it's just a terrible shade, and it's also really fragile. The rest of the palette though is stunning, like this pink, oh, and the shimmers feel so good. The rest of it's an absolutely beautiful palette, one of Too Faced's best palettes, and the smell has kind of died down the more I've had it. But that one shade, garbage, which sucks because I love a light shimmer. I know I said I was doing the Jeffree Star palettes next, but I forgot this one after Blue Blood, so. The Mini Controversy palette with Dawson and Jeffree Star. I love this palette. I think it's super, super cute, and I'm glad I have the original one, but I will get that single green because I feel like I like green eyeshadow. Oh, I'm wearing green today, too. But it's the Flat Earth shade for me in this palette. This one. I never find a purpose in using this. To me, the shade is okay. I really enjoyed the first couple times I played with this palette, and the this minty blue, light blue shade was fine for the looks I made. However, the more I use it, the more I'm just not a fan of this shade by itself. I still absolutely love these two shades in this palette. Love those two the most. They're so good. And the rest of the palette's absolutely fine, but for me, I never find a use for this blue. And it's kind of dry in texture, but it's still fine for a pastel blue. But I feel like if it was a little darker, maybe it would have been a better shade. Just because it's a little too pale, that it's not really going to come off as a blue on the eye. It's just going to look like a dustier shadow. So I feel like that's my opinion on this, but I do love the palette. I think it's super cute. And these two shades, oh my god, they're so good. But this shade for me, I never find a purpose for it, and I feel like it's a little too light where you're not going to tell you have a pastel blue on unless you put like a white base down, and then it's a matte. Usually you want to put like, or usually I put like a shimmer over like a concealer crease, but cute palette. Alright, let's talk about my other limited edition palette. I know, saying bad things about my Edward Scissorhands palette, are you kidding me? This is by Sugarpill. This palette is no longer available. It was for the, 25th anniversary. It's a couple years old. But these are available in singles, so I feel like it's okay to talk about because you can still buy these shades. My favorite eyeshadow of all time, ooh, I don't know, Ranch and the Conspiracy palette's really good too. But my favorite shade of all time is called Ice Angel. You cannot tell on camera because it's so bright in here. But I made a really good dent in this. I actually, one time, just for fun, put like a really light foundation on, did not set it, and set my entire face and put this shade all over my face. It's a big pan, so I got away with it fine. And I look like a icy blue monster. But I had fun. I just kept packing it all over the rest of my face, and it was crazy. I should have took a picture of it. But I love this shade, Ice Angel, so much. But the shade I don't like in this palette is the Inventor. It's like a gray-black shimmer. I think it was originally supposed to be a black, but it comes off very gray. It's very soft, don't get me wrong, and it's pigmented, but it's somewhere between a black and a gray that doesn't really fit the rest of the palette. The color scheme in this palette in general is very random, but I don't care. I love Edward Scissorhands. Oh, I have an Edward Scissorhands tattoo. And I love this gray tone to it, but it's so much darker in the pan than it comes off. And when you blend this on the eyes, some of it disappears. Like, it doesn't stay. So, and since it's the darkest shade in here, you gotta like use the brown with it. It's just kind of hard to use. I feel like it does not look the same blended out in the hand that it looks like in the pan. Like, this is not the same, and it dusts away really easily. So not a fan of the shade Inventor, but I love Ice Angel so much, and these other shades are too. Ooh, this one's nice too. These are really good. Everything else except this one is a great shadow. If you want to buy a single, I would suggest Ice Angel. Great purchase. I think I have Ice Angel in a single as well. It's better, it's like softer in the palette formula, but I had to have an extra just in case I ever lost the palette or something happened to it. I know some of you talk about palette shades that I hate, but honestly, every time I pull the Edward Scissorhands palette, I'm just like, this one shade's so good, please get it. Not affiliated with Sugarpill, they don't know I exist, but I love that shadow. Alright, next up, Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette. This was limited edition, is now permanent, and I adore this palette. I need to use it more. I don't really use warm eyeshadows too often, but this palette, I died for this. When I saw this for the first time in people's collection videos, and they were like, it's limited edition, you can't get it, and people were selling it on like Poshmark and stuff, and Mercari, and eBay for like $100 and something, and now it's permanent, you can get it all the time, which is great. I love this palette so much. But the shade you would think I like the most in this palette, I don't like, even though I use it more often than not. It's this Crown shade. It's again a white shimmer. I'm a white shimmer fiend. Maybe that's why I get disappointed when shades don't work out for me that are white shimmers. But I love that shade so dearly in the concept of it. Like, I love a white shimmer. But to me, some of the shimmers in this palette perform better than others. And for me, this one is just like lackluster. It's again kind of a chunky shimmery shade. It's extremely pigmented, but it's one of those shades that you kind of have to buff out or you get kind of chunks in it. It looks beautiful, but it's nothing special. It is kind of subtle when you put it on the lid. Like, even if you pack it on your finger, it kind of fades. It doesn't really have like that stark white love effect that I have to it, unless you put like a cut crease down. I just like packing shimmers on with my finger, like today. Like, I have this green shimmer on my lid. I just packed it on the finger and it stays fine. This one gets pretty dull and it's kind of disappointing, so it sucks, but the rest of the palette's so pretty. Like, look at that. It's a great color scheme. Alright, so the last two palettes are affordable palettes, and I love both these brands dearly. Do not get me wrong. However, This is a dupe palette, so I technically think the real version is the one I would probably hate, but since I have this one, I don't like that one shade either. It is the Daydream palette by Alter Ego, a dupe for the new nude palette by Huda Beauty. You can use my code on Alter Ego if you want to save some money, but for me, the shade I don't like, and it's also in the Huda palette, which is why it's in here, it's a concealer. Why is there need to be a concealer shade, which is a like liquidy product, in my powder eyeshadow palette? I don't want to get powder in my concealery stuff. I don't see the point in it. Everyone has separate eyelid primers, separate concealers, and it's like a weird pasty creamy color in both palettes. The rest of the palette is stunning. Like some of the shimmers and the mattes are like so good. I love them. And the, oh my gosh, the shimmery metallics. They look so good pressed onto finger on the lid. But I don't need a concealery shade, a sticky substance in my powder product. That goes for so many things. Contour palettes, everything. But this is what I thought of when I thought of eyeshadow palettes. And the last palette, I love this palette. It's the Honey palette. Honey palette by Colourpop. And I love yellow palette. But can we just say, press glitters. I like using glitter once in a while, but I have to feel like I'm going to have a good day the next day, because I know I have to like, I'm going to have remnants somewhere on my face. Even if I wash my face, there will somehow be glitter the next day. So I have to accept that before I do if I do anything with the glitters. And this palette would be perfect if this pressed glitter shade wasn't here. It's a pretty pressed glitter. It's very fragile and soft though. Like when I touch it, I'm like, ooh, do not travel with this palette. It's a beautiful glitter. I'm not going to swatch it on my hand because I don't want that everywhere. But it's super, super chunky, super, super soft. And it's going to take a lot of glitter glue to really stick that down because it is such a gritty formula. There's no base pigment to it. It's just loose glitter everywhere. So kind of frustrating. I'm seeing less of these in Colourpop palettes lately, which I enjoy. So Colourpop, you want to make a yellow palette 2.0, maybe like a gold with some yellow in there. Little mini palette, I'd totally buy that. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe down below. I'd greatly appreciate it. And give me a thumbs up on this video. That'd be awesome. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.